Hello and welcome to another episode of Loud and Proud Mamas. I'm your host, Justine, and I got my co-host here, Laura. Laura, why don't you say hi to the listeners?
Hi, everyone.
Laura, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Happy to be doing our second recording.
Second recording and the day before Halloween. Very exciting.
Yes.
I got my little lion costume that I got from Value Village for $15. Very excited about that. Do you have Halloween plans?
So I also got a lion costume for my daughter at a secondhand store.
Excellent, excellent. We're going to have to trade photos.
Except I'm going to have to brag here. I got mine for $3.
Oh, you beat me. You beat me.
I do love a good deal.
It is true that in the hierarchy of fripperies, the Value Village is the more expensive one.
Oh, we could go on a whole tangent on that one because I have some strong feelings about the prices of Value Village and the value it has.
It's, in some ways the convenience is nice because the selection is really there and you're more than likely to find something. But the problem is indeed the value of what you're getting inside that village.
Yes. Though I have to say, I have found a few good little tidbits here and there, but I much prefer the no-name thrift shops that are kind of hiding in the little corners here and there.
We have an amazing frippery in my village. They sell DVDs for 50 cents to $1. And not even weird DVDs, actual good DVDs. I got a rice cooker from my brother-in-law for $3, a functional, usable rice cooker. I have a great frippery by my place, but the problem is that the hours are 10 to 4, Monday to Friday. So let me tell you, when you're working 8 to 5, Monday to Friday, it's very hard to go to the frippery.
Yes, indeed.
Tell me about the frips down over at your place. How are they?
We have a good selection, quite a few. I think the problem with ours is just they're so popular, so they're often quite busy, and you kind of have to go at have the right timing when all the new stuff is dropped off, because it gets picked up pretty quickly. But I found some really nice quality things at them, and it's nice because we have maybe 3 or 4 big ones, some that have more kids things, some that have more furniture things, so you can kind of pick and choose where you go. But it's nice to have, because I'm definitely about the giving second life to objects if you can. Save $1 here and there.
Absolutely. This is not the pro tip segment, but I'm just going to give it out anyways. Don't buy anything new as a parent, except maybe the car seat. But everything else, just absolutely go to the frip and get everything.
Or even on that note, so we did just buy my daughter's second car seat. She's sizing up, so we needed another one. And you get it on secondhand, but never used. And so you save a good $100. Someone, I guess, got 2 at their baby shower, didn't want this one, scooped it up, and setting those little alerts on Facebook Marketplace are nice too, because then you can scoop the good stuff when it comes up.
Yeah, that's a pro tip right there. That's from us to you, listeners. Set those alerts and shop secondhand. How's your baby doing, Laura?
Doing well, yeah. Daycare seems to be going well. The transition is much better now. I think she's about to start another little cold. That is the downside of daycare. It is the germs. I was all excited for Halloween, but it's going to be pouring rain. I was going to take her out for her first trick-or-treating, but we'll see. I might still suit her up in a jumpsuit and a rain suit and boots, and that'll be her costume, and we might hit up a few houses, but it's definitely a change in the initial plans. What about you?
Yeah. Well, my kid is only 10 months, so he doesn't know about Halloween. So the fact that it's raining, we lucked out that he's not disappointed in any way. So we're pretty lucky with that.
Are you still planning to put him in his costume for a few photos?
Yeah,
Or
we're going to take about 500 to 800 photos, somewhere in that range.
oh yeah, that sounds
Uh,
about right.
that sounds reasonable. That's a reasonable amount of photos. But no, I Halloween is a cute one, and I guess the big one after that is Christmas. So
Yes, since
uh,
we are in Canada and we already had our Thanksgiving, I know there might be some listeners who say, wait, there's one in November too.
nope, no, there's not.
Not for us.
Speaking of the holidays, when we do have the holidays, something that tends to crop up is the way that our brains handle holiday planning, holiday scheduling, all of the mess around holidays, which takes us to our next topic, which is
Yes.
neurodiversity. So, Laura, what do we have to say about neurodiversity?
So to start, I like to refer to it as instead of I'm neurodiverse, I'm a little neurospicy.
I
So
like that.
my brain is just has some extra flavor. It's just a little different. Doesn't work in all the same ways that everyone else does. I do have one official diagnosis, but we don't need to go into the specifics. Um, but all to say that came later in life. It came with a lot of validation and understanding as to why my brain might not work the same way as everyone else and some of the challenges that come with it. But I also see it as a good and empowering thing. Um, I love the way it can also be a superpower sometimes. My hyper focuses on things, and um, yeah, there's just it just makes us a little different. But there's a few extra challenges when it comes to combining neurospicy brains with the typical mom brain. So I think that brings it to one step further with juggling all the different things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of noises when it comes to being a mom. A lot of toddler
Yes.
noises, a lot of appliance noises. It's easy to
Yes.
get overstimulated, right?
Yes. So, something that my wife and I have adopted, one for the reason of my tendency to become overstimulated, but another one for the developmental benefits it apparently has, is we've taken on a somewhat, if you've learned about the different types of educational schools of thought for kids. There's Montessori school of thought and there's a Waldorf school of thought. And I'm going to just preface this with I don't know all the details. I know bits and pieces, so I may be giving slightly incorrect information here.
We'll
But
forgive
both
you.
of those, thank you, both of those schools of thought encourage using natural materials for children so that, to help with their way they interact with things, their way of learning. So this means there's a lot of like toys that are made out of wood or metal or glass, like all safe, of course, but none of those plastic battery operated singing toys. So we have told all our family that we are doing this school of thought with our daughter. And so we have mainly only toys that have natural sounds, and that helps me so much because I can't stand the battery operated toys that just repeat the same things over and
Yeah.
over again at high frequencies.
My wonderful dad, who is so excited to be a grandpa for the first time, bought my son a DJ set, a toddler DJ set where he can DJ and it plays children's music on a loop.
Hmm, that sounds lovely.
He likes it, so what can you do? What can you do except suffer in silence?
So my daughter loves music, and my mother-in-law had the same thought. She wanted to buy our daughter a little radio that she could walk around with and listen to. So she found this leapfrog radio that had like the kids songs that she can press. Anywho, she ordered this and played it and brought it over to the house and gave it to our daughter. And we were like, "Oh, that's lovely. you can have that at your house. And after hearing it a few times, my mother in law said, nope, I think I agree with you. Let's not. And she sent it back and she ordered one of those mini reel radios. So it's like a little
Nice.
portable radio that our daughter can just put on and listen to music. And it was a win win for everybody.
That's a sweet story. That's when setting boundaries comes with positive benefits in the end.
Yes. And, we have this rule, but we definitely have some battery operated toys. They just kind of get lost in the basement sometimes. And we're totally okay with her playing with those kinds of toys when we're not at our own home. Uh, it's more just something we adopt at home. And something I love about this approach just is because her toys don't make sounds or light up, she doesn't really know the difference between what a toy is and what a toy is not. So any random objects around the house have become her toys. We call them
Yeah.
her treasures, and she'll just go anywhere and find any inanimate object and play with it for a good 10-15 minutes at times. And we think that it's just such a great thing because we don't have to go out and buy all the new shiny toys because anything we pull out can be a toy.
Yeah, my kids at that age with a rolled up ball of tinfoil is
Mm-hmm.
just fascinating, endlessly fascinating.
Yep. And speaking of holidays, we're soon going to discover that all of this, money and gifts the money put into the gifts that people might get, uh, with all of that, the things our kids are probably going to like the most are the boxes, the bags, and the tissue paper.
So, one thing about the holidays is that it does bring you in close contact with a lot of different people. And sometimes when you can have a neurospicy brain, navigating holiday parties, in laws, parents coming over, all of those very close connections for extended periods of time can be, a little difficult. How are you finding, parties, get togethers, all that stuff?
Yes, I definitely struggle with my social battery at times, especially around the holidays. I struggle especially with small talk. I wish that we could just always jump right into those deep and juicy good conversations and not the socially expected chit chat. I find that very draining, and I find around the holidays there's usually a lot of that with a lot of people that you don't necessarily see all the time. And I definitely have some hard time with that. My wife and I also were kind of on the same page with this, so it's nice we can tap out and feed off of each other, so that's helpful. But we struggle a lot with the rushing around. So we have a lot of different familial obligations at multiple days of, going to my side and then going to her side. And then I'm a child of divorce. So there's also a child of divorce times two,
Well,
meaning my parents and then my step parent or my family has also split up, unfortunately. But that just means there's, I would like to see them all around the holidays, but it can be a lot to go everywhere, especially now with a child. It's even more to organize, and I find you have to be really on. So, making sure that you have all the things that you need, that you're there on time. We both struggle with time blindness, so this is an extra challenge. Not forgetting things. So there's just, the holidays can be rough when your brain works a little differently, I think. What do you think about that?
you know, I think after a long time of being in extended contact with a lot of people, I think one of the ways I recharge my social batteries is just by holding myself up in the kitchen and redesigning the spice cabinet until about 1 or 2 a.m.
Yeah, that sounds like a good activity for sure. Do you find that you get that your social battery charges more with alone time or with good social interactions?
So I'm very structured, and this might come from my family because my family is very structured. We do a lot of activities. So, for example, we have dinner as an activity, then we have the before dinner walk or the after dinner walk. Then we have like card games. Like, we don't really just like sit around and chit chat. And my in laws, whom I love very dearly and who have welcomed me into the family with open arms, are very much just a hang out and chit chat and like see where the night goes. Whereas my family is very like, okay, we're doing this activity, and after this activity is done, there will be another activity. And so I really struggle where I'm like, what are we doing? Like, should I organize something? Should I get something going? And so my husband has really had to be like, nope, we're just going to sit in a circle and chit chat for a couple of hours.
So it's funny you say that because I think it's quite similar with me and my family and even my in-laws. I am very much an activity person. With a background in recreational therapy, you'd think that I would be. And I find activities save the day for me in social situations. I love things where I can chit chat with people while also having something to keep my hands busy. Like something we love to do around the holidays with my side of the family is all the cousins will make a gingerbread house. So we'll sit around and we'll talk, but at the same time, we're creating something. And I find that really helpful. That helps me recharge in those moments. We love board games too, so we're always pulling out a board game. I've gotten my in-laws into doing poker games, so that's also fun. We do enjoy that every once in a while. But yes.
That's really sweet. Poker games sound... Do you guys like bet candy or do you guys bet money?
So my brother-in-law started with quarters. So everyone kind of will contribute a quarter, if I'm remembering this correctly, or it's toonies. Well, since they're all quite young, whoever wins gets $5. That's kind of what we've been doing.
Gotcha.
But it's more for fun.
No, for sure. Poker is a lot of fun. I used to play candy poker with my friends back in Montreal quite a bit. You buy a big bag of Halloween candy. Kit Kats are worth like 2 Hershey's, etc., etc.
I love that. Maybe we'll have to do a game of candy poker after Halloween if my daughter gets a bunch of goodies.
Yeah. Yeah, if Hurricane Melissa doesn't wash all those plans out.
On that note, can I share an awkward moment of the week?
Absolutely. Let's transition to our favorite segment, my awkward moment of the day.
So, because you mentioned Hurricane Melissa, I just have to share this story. I live under a rock sometimes, so I don't always know what's going on in the world. I do need to educate myself a little more in current events, but it is what it is. So I teach an in-person class on using AI in the workplace, and I had my class last night, and we were using one of the AI bots, and I needed a prompt. And so in front of the class, I was like, okay, I need a prompt. And someone said, ask about Jamaica. And I was like, I need something a little bit more specific. And before they could answer, I started typing, plan a 7-day vacation to Jamaica. And then the whole class kind of goes, no, we were talking about the hurricane and all the terrible things that are happening.
Oh, no.
And I'm just there scratching my head. Oh, whoops.
Not a great time for a vacation.
I did not know this. So there was definitely an awkward buzz for a moment. And then I just backspaced that whole segment. And we asked about what we can do for hurricane relief from Canada.
You saved it.
Yeah.
You saved it.
But I'm telling you, my heart was pounding there and I was a little embarrassed.
Well, I promise not to judge you if I catch you on any current events that I know about that you don't.
Well, thank you for that.
And this has been my awkward moment of the day. And so now that we're done, awkward moment of the day, let's debut another beloved recurring segment called My Horrible Poop Moment of the Day.
Let's hope that we don't have too many of these stories, but I hear we both have some good ones for this week.
Oh my God. So this just happened yesterday, and I had to tell you about it on the podcast. So my husband and I take turns doing bath time, because bath time is one of the ways that we help my son relax and get to sleep, sit in some hot water. Sometimes he gets his bottle in there and he inclines in the hot water and, drinks his bottle, and it gets him super sleepy, puts him to bed super fast. So I love it. And this time, I had a red flag, which that he didn't have his afternoon poop, which I should have flagged immediately, but I didn't. We had dinner, and after dinner, we got dressed for the bath, or undressed for the bath, and we're all sitting very nice in the bath. He's got his boats, he's got his rubber ducks, he's having a good time splashing, when all of a sudden, I see little bubbles. Tiny little bubbles, and I'm like, oh, where are these little bubbles coming from? And all of a sudden I see a black balloon rushing towards the surface, and I realize it's not a black balloon, it is a giant shit. It is a giant shit that my son pooped in the bathtub. So immediately I have to lift him like I'm Rafiki from The Lion King to get him out of the poop. I don't know what to do because I'm scared that if I stand up from the poopy bathwater, I'm going to fall because the bathtub is kind of slippery. So I call for help from my husband. My husband comes running thinking that something terrible has happened, which to be fair, it has. He sees me in the poopy water. He grabs the son, hoses him down in the separate shower. I get out, some turds clinging to me. We drain the bathtub, we get it all cleaned up, but I had to take another shower. My husband finished off sleepy time for the boy, put him down. But it was a good 15-20 minutes of just absolute chaos where you don't know what to do because you're in a bathtub full of shit.
My gosh.
You're like, what do you do? What do you do except get your child out of there as fast as you can, and hopefully get yourself out of there as fast as you can too.
Yep. I'm sure every parent has a bathtub poop story, and if you don't, you are one lucky duck, because
I wish
that
I was
sounds
one of those
rough.
lucky ducks. It was not ideal. It was not ideal. So, if your kid has not had that afternoon poop yet, keep an eye on the horizon there, because you don't want it to come.
No, I guess it did not help you relax before bed, that's for sure.
I did have some wine. I did have my nice little glass of dry white wine with ice cubes and bubbly after that.
Well deserved.
What is your horrible poop moment of the day, Laura?
Okay, so this also just happened this week, and I have been ready and excited to tell you about this because, oh boy, it was a doozy.
Oh my God, I'm ready.
The other day, so my daughter is now 17 months old, so a little bit more mobile and active than your son. But I had her all ready to go for daycare, dressed in her coat with her shoes on, and before going, sometimes I give her a snack in the car. So I was just preparing a snack. I would be leaving for the day because I'd be heading to work after. So I had let my dog out beforehand, and I made sure he had a good amount of time outside. Then let him in, doing my last few things, and I see my daughter come up to me, and she hands me something, and she goes, "Mama," and drops it in my hand and says, "Caca."
No.
And I look, and I'm holding a dog turd. And I look up, and it was not just one piece. She had walked all through the biggest dog poop that I have seen my tiny dog do in I don't know how long. And it was all in her shoes. It was spread all over the carpet. and her
Of
doll that
course.
she is obsessed with was in the caca.
Of course. Of
Yeah,
course.
so already running late.
Yeah, of course.
Yep. And so I have to say, she was very good. I took those shoes off and I sat her on her bum and I said, Caca is yucky. We don't touch. Stay here, please. And she sat while I cleaned up all the poop. So I have to say, I was very grateful for that. But it was not how I wanted to spend my morning. It was not. And we have a giant carpet in the living room that was all nice and caked in. And since I was in a rush, all I could do was take it and hang it on the balcony outside, and I said I'll deal with that later. Flash forward to 2 days later, it is now soaking in rain, still out there. I have not got to it yet, so
Hurricane Melissa is going to help you out with that.
that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I'll let it have a good soak, and then we'll see if we can get it all out.
How far did that set you back?
A good 20 minutes. But it was
Yeah.
a funny story. Why are you late today? Well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
before we finish up this segment, it just made me think of a organizing tip that I've been hearing about that's been trending lately. Some people might have heard of Marie Kondo, and if you hold something in your hand, you ask yourself, does this spark joy? And if the answer is yes, then you keep it. And if the answer is no, then you get rid of it. Well, this doesn't work for everyone because, especially for ADHD people like me, a lot of things spark joy because,
You're a joyful person. Yeah. You're very joyful.
yes. So the new trending one is, if poop got on this, would I wash it or throw it away? And if you're willing to wash it and clean it, then it's worth keeping. If you're willing to throw it away, then it's probably not worth keeping.
How does your daughter factor into this? Are you willing to throw her away?
I think I'll wash her and keep her, at least for this
Alright.
time. What about for you and your son?
After doing some thoughtful reflecting, I think I'll keep him, but I did have to think about it for a little bit. I joke. I'm a good mother.
You are.
So while we're discussing our wonderful children, I wanted to know if you would indulge us in a few pregnancy stories back when we were both pregnant. As we've mentioned, your daughter is just a little bit older than mine. We were in the same mom group because our kids are relatively close in age. What was your pregnancy like? How was that whole experience for you? It was your first, right?
Yes, it was. So I was someone who really, really wanted to love pregnancy. I had always wanted to be a mom. It was something I was super psyched for, and I was super excited to be pregnant. But I have to say, I did not love it. I did not. No.
Oh.
Well,
it was hard.
I wanted to. Everything. Everything was hard. I hear people talk about their beautiful pregnancies where they felt radiant and full of energy and full of life, and that was not me. That was not.
Oh.
I had really bad nausea pretty much the whole way through. A lot of people say it disappears at 12 weeks. It did not. I was throwing up multiple times a day, way into the second trimester and right up until labor. But I didn't have the benefits of not gaining weight because of this. I just swelled up like a balloon. Every part of me doubled in size. To the point where when I was only 12 weeks pregnant, so shouldn't have even had a belly or anything, people asked me if I was having twins.
Oh.
First of all,
okay, a little bit forward.
Yeah. And just listeners out there or people in listeners' lives, don't ask people if they're having twins. Just don't do it. If they're having twins, they will tell you. Don't ask.
Yeah.
It's not nice. Doesn't feel good.
Man, your daughter, she was big, right? In the belly?
Yes, she came out at 8 pounds 6 ounces, so not small, definitely not small.
Yeah.
But I'm quite petite, I guess. I'm short, so it showed a lot. She protruded significantly out of my belly.
Yeah, my son was the same way. People would stop me on the street of my small town village and say, "Wow, c'est un gros bébé." And for my Anglophone listeners, that people would point at me on the street and out of nowhere just say to me, "Wow, that's a big baby, eh?" And I'm
That's
be like, "Yep,
rough.
no, that's true." People are very forward with pregnancy.
They
I've
are.
noticed.
Did you have any random old ladies touch your belly in grocery stores?
I didn't have old ladies touching my belly, but I did have a lot of very personal questions, like people like cashiers in the grocery store asking me like, "Oh, how's this symptom? How's that symptom?" And I'm like, none of your business. I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. I'm buying apples.
Yes, I had a lot of people touch my belly. Everywhere I went, people just seemed to want to touch my belly, which I'm not sure why. I don't know if I look maybe a little passive or whatnot, like I'm just gonna smile and let it.
Yeah.
And I did just smile and let it. I probably should have said, sorry, I don't like that. I got a lot more protective when people tried to touch my baby when I was out, when she was brand new. On your note of awkward questions when you were out and about, that's one thing I found that a lot, because I'm in an openly queer relationship with another woman, I feel that it opened the question for people, even people I didn't know well, asking me how the pregnancy came about. And, it, like, depending on the relationship on the person, I'm very much okay to share those details because I find education super important and I want to normalize these things as well. So I'm very happy to answer questions because the amount of people who asked me if we got a surrogate really surprised me because I was like, no, the baby is in my uterus. It is here in mine. Do you see it?
Yeah.
But even so, people were like, well, who's your surrogate? And I'd have to be like, we don't have one. And they would be like, but you're two women. And I had to be like, yes, and we have two uteruses. Or is it uteri?
It might be uteri. We'll have to get back to you on that one, listeners.
But I mean, I would take it gently and I would just explain about, for us, the donor process that we took and what that looks like. And I do think it's helpful in the long run, but there are definitely some moments where I'm like, is this socially appropriate? We just met.
People are wild about queer relationships. Do you want to hear the most stressful bureaucratic interaction I've ever had trying to conceive? Yes. So in the province of Quebec, there's a program that will help pay for a certain amount of sperm. So, for example, if sperm is like $1,500, the Quebec government will pitch in like $700 or $750, something like that. Mm-hmm. But they don't just give this money out to anyone. You have to have proof that you need it. Makes sense. All right, fine, fair enough. So in the form that you're filling out, there's 3 options. Option number 1, you're a single woman and you want to be a single mom. Fair enough, okay. Option number 2, you're a female-female couple. All right, fair enough. And then the last option is you're a female-male couple in which the male has fertility issues. And my husband is a transgender man. He has M on his certificate, and we didn't know which box do we click. Do we click the female-female box or do we click the male-female box? And so we ask our caseworker that we're going at the fertility clinic, which box do we click? And she says, well, what does your husband have on his medical card? And we said he has an M because legally he is recognized as male in society. And she's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, do the female male. Well, we order the sperm, and immediately there's problems. The sperm clinic is calling me, sending me voicemails, saying the Quebec government is not releasing the funds. The fertility clinic saying they have not received the sperm. I am trying to get 3 different institutions to talk to each other. Finally, I get an old francophone woman in her 50s on the phone, and she's explaining to me that my husband does not have his sperm analysis on file, because if you select the male and female option, he needs to have proof that he has fertility issues, and one of the tests he did not do was his like spermography or whatever, where they assess the viability of the sperm. And so I am
Yeah.
explaining in my shit French that my husband is transgender and he doesn't have sperm, and she is explaining to me in the best English that she can handle that I need to submit a spermography from the doctor in order to have these funds released. And we are caught in a battle back and forth where I am trying to explain, no, my husband is transgender, he doesn't have sperm. And she's like, no, you don't understand. You need to have the sperm analysis in order to have this. We're getting really tense. I'm refusing to get off the phone because if I don't get these funds released, the sperm that we selected goes back on the market and somebody else could purchase it. Finally, everyone is in tears. I am openly sobbing on the phone. She transfers me to like some millennial Anglophone, and she's like, "Hi, what's going on? What's going on?" And I'm like, he's trans, and he doesn't have sperm." And she's like, "Okay, I'll handle this." And I hear the world's fastest typing over the phone, and she's like, "It's done. And I was like, thank
Oh my
you.
God.
And that was a song. I have no idea what she did. I don't know if she just like marked us as female. And if she did, I don't care at this point. I don't care. Like, we got the sperm, we got the pregnant, we got the
Wow.
kid. But like, yeah, that's a little bit of bureaucracy in the Quebec medical system for you.
That is quite a story. Listeners, you could not see my facial expressions throughout this, but they were quite varied there. That's I could definitely see myself crying in that position too. I hate phone calls that go like that when you feel like it's out of your control and there's nothing you can do and they don't understand.
Yeah, it sucked. It sucked so much.
That's yeah. Well, I'm so happy that they got it figured out and that things worked out. But there definitely needs to be a little bit more education in the fertility workers at some of these places.
Mostly our experience was good. From that, apart from that one loophole, I guess, that we fell into, that one crack in the system where they're like, well, yes, technically you are a male-female couple, just not the type we typically think of. But that's the joy of being queer, isn't it? That's just the joy of being in a queer relationship. Anyways, Laura, you got anything else for us?
I think that does it for tonight.
All right, listeners. This has been episode 2 of Loud and Proud Mamas. I hope you've enjoyed our horrible poop moments of the day, our socially awkward moments, and finally, real life stories from real life queers. Thank you so much for tuning in. Laura, you want to say goodnight?
Have a good night, everyone. Thanks so much for listening.